So on today's episode of PJ and the Beard, you may ask me why I'm holding a switchback, a red remote, and a ditto looper. It's because we're going to jump into a dare to compare. And before I get into what we're going to compare and we get into the video, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, click on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. In this case, we're all over the map. Some of this stuff came from one place. The Wazacraft did come from Zzounds, which was sort of the genesis for this. Well, not the Leviticus to Deuteronomy, whatever came after Genesis, because the first pedal you've had for a while.
Yeah, so this is one of these rare moments. I'm not sure this has ever happened before, where I was watching that pedal show, and they didn't go deep enough. Like, never happens, right? But I was watching it one day, and they were talking about the Dimension C. I believe, for any of you like good archivists or whatever that could find things, because I wasn't able to find it in a quick search. They were talking about this, and I believe it might have been a VCQ, and somebody asked them, have you ever compared this, what about this, to that?
TC Electronics Third Dimension.
And you know how our memories get kind of fuzzy, but I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, I want to say Mick, no, let's try it. Turned it on, strummed a chord, flipped to the strummed a chord, went, nope, and they moved on. They're not as, it's not, it doesn't compare.
Right.
Kind of like, nope, no comparison, and on they went. Now, I had that pedal at the time, and I really like that pedal.
Yeah, you had it on your board for a little while, I think.
Yeah. And we always forget to turn that camera off, and it all shuts off and clanks on the screen. So I was really waiting for them to, I wanted to hear them side by side, hear them, and didn't happen. It was, like I said, I think that is the one time the boys at that pedal show haven't done a deep dive into something. I was like, wait a second, go back. Never ever happened.
Maybe if they'd played two chords.
Right. So what we did tonight, like Pat said, we got out the red remote, put these two side by side, Pat played 3 chords into the ditto looper, and we A-B'd them back and forth. And we started on that one on number 1, played 3 chords, flipped to this one with the red remote. On number 1, played 3 chords, and we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 4.
Yep.
That's the whole video, folks. Should we play it for them?
Let's do it.
So that's the playing. That's the comparison. I do want to point out one thing. On the Dimension C, you can go from, through W, the Waza, you can go from the pedal mode to what was the old digital rack mount with a little switch down here. Obviously, we didn't do that because the third dimension or whatever it's called doesn't have that.
Right.
So, final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that it reminded me of when we did this. The Behringer against the original Tube Screamer. Not exactly the same thing, but like $25, $49,
$49.
$220.
$220.
Lord only knows how much. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got, whatever the original Tube Screamer. And I wanted so badly to hear a huge difference. And I feel like the difference was very subtle. And I feel like that's where I'm landing tonight. I think there was a little bit of, I don't know if it was the mojo or the snobbery, maybe a little more depth to this one. I felt like maybe the Dimensions had a little more air to it, but it just reminded me of this. I really thought it was going to be a clear winner or whatever, how we want to put that. And I don't know that there necessarily was.
Yeah, I'm not making any...
I feel I've gone too far.
I'm not saying anything. I'd really be curious as to what you have to say. Like, you get to sit there and listen. Sometimes when you listen to it back recorded, sounds different than it sounds in the ear, in the room. So I want to hear what your ears hear. What do you think? Is there a $200 difference or whatever? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of pros to the Boss before you get into sound.
Stereo in and out.
You got, but... just on sound, just on that one side, what do you think? And with that, hey, just thanks for checking out the channel, watching the video. If you hit the subscribe button or you click the like button or you hit the notification bell, any of those things, those interactions help us interact with cool people in the industry, which is why Zzounds sent it to us so we could share it with you. So we appreciate that. With that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard or Money. No matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. And we're leaving this one up to your ear.